Have you ever noticed the way a man looks at you and then quickly looks away, almost like he's been caught thinking too much? That pause, that hesitation, that subtle shift in his energy isn't accidental, because when a man's attention drifts to your body, especially your chest, his mind doesn't go where most people assume. It doesn't jump straight to something crude or shallow. Instead, it slows down. It wanders. It imagines closeness, warmth, connection moments that feel intimate even without a single word being spoken. Your body becomes more than something he sees. It becomes something he feels. And that feeling, it lingers long after you've left the room, long after the conversation ends, long after he pretends he's not thinking about you at all. What most women don't realize is that these fantasies aren't about exposure or perfection. They're about emotion, comfort, desire, and the unspoken power of femininity. And once you understand what's really happening in his mind, you stop questioning your appeal and start owning it. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will completely change how you see yourself and how men experience you. When men fantasize about your chest, the first thing that surfaces isn't desire in the way movies portray it, it's comfort. There's a quiet, almost subconscious association between your softness and emotional safety. In his imagination, it's not about taking anything from you, it's about resting in your presence. A moment where the noise in his mind fades, where expectations drop, where he doesn't have to be strong, impressive, or in control. Your body becomes a place where he feels allowed to soften too. This is why men often feel unexpectedly attached to women they feel physically close to. That closeness triggers something deep, something familiar and grounding. It reminds him of being cared for, accepted, and understood without words. And for many men, that feeling is rare. They don't talk about it, but they crave it more than excitement or novelty. What's important to understand is that this fantasy isn't about how you look, it's about how you feel to him. Your warmth, your presence, the way you hold space. When a man imagines closeness like this, it means you've already crossed from being visually attractive to emotionally significant. This is where real attraction begins, because once a man associates you with comfort and safety, his desire deepens. He doesn't just want to see you, he wants to be near you, to linger, to stay a little longer than he planned. And that kind of fantasy isn't fleeting. It's the kind that creates emotional bonding, quiet longing, and a connection that stays with him long after the moment passes, often without him even realizing why. When a man is drawn to your chest, it isn't a passing glance that disappears the moment he looks away. What actually happens is far more subtle and far more powerful. His mind records the image, not in a crude way, but as a feeling tied to a moment. The way your outfit moved when you laughed, the confidence in your posture, the effortless femininity you carried without trying to impress anyone. These details blend together and create a visual memory that quietly replays later, often when he least expects it. What women often don't realize is that men don't fantasize only in the present. They revisit what made them feel drawn in the first place. A simple memory can resurface when he's alone, when he's distracted, or when something reminds him of you. And when it does, it brings back the emotion attached to it. Curiosity, desire, intrigue, not urgency, interest. The kind that grows instead of burns at. This fantasy isn't about imagining something graphic. It's about reliving the way you made him feel seen, stirred, and captivated. Your presence becomes a mental anchor, something his mind returns to because it felt good, exciting, and slightly out of reach. That's why attraction deepens when a woman doesn't over-explain or overexpose. Mystery gives his imagination space to work. And when imagination is involved, the desire lasts longer. He doesn't just remember how you looked, he remembers how you entered his thoughts without forcing your way in. And once a man starts replaying you in his mind, you are no longer just someone he noticed. You become someone he thinks about. And that a completely different level of attraction. At the heart of many male fantasies lies something far deeper than attraction. It is the feeling of being chosen. When a man imagines closeness with you, his thoughts often circle around a quiet, powerful idea that out of all the people in the world, you allow him into your space. Your body, in his mind, becomes a symbol of trust, intimacy, and selection. It's not just that he desires you, that he imagines being the one you let close. This is why his fantasy carries emotional weight. It's not about access. It is about permission. The idea that you are selective, that your closeness isn't automatic or casual, makes him feel significant, desired, seen. In a world where many men feel replaceable or unnoticed, that sense of being chosen is intoxicating. What most women don't realize is that this kind of fantasy activates a man's emotional attachment. He is just picturing you. He is picturing himself in a role where he matters to you, where your attention rests on him, where your closeness is intentional, not accidental, and this is where your power truly lies. The more a man feels that your intimacy is earned rather than given freely, the deeper his desire becomes. He doesn't rush, he imagines, he hopes. He invests emotionally before anything ever happens. That is why mystery is so magnetic. When your presence feels exclusive, his imagination fills in the gaps, and those imagined moments feel incredibly real to him. Once a man associates you with the feeling of being chosen, his attraction stops being casual and starts becoming personal. And personal desire is the hardest kind to shake. When a man fantasizes, what truly holds his attention isn't just your body, it's the energy behind it. Your chest represents softness in its purest form, and softness is something many men deeply crave but rarely experience. In his imagination, that softness contrasts with the pressure-filled world he lives in every day. It's not weakness, it's relief. It's warmth. It's a place where he doesn't have to be guarded. This fantasy is about feminine power, not physical perfection. The gentle rise and fall of your breath. The calm confidence in the way you carry yourself. The unspoken grace that comes from being comfortable in your own skin. These qualities signal something deeply attractive to a man's subconscious, emotional balance, and that balance draws him in more strongly than anything loud or performative ever could. Men are constantly expected to lead, decide, and hold it together. So when he imagines your softness, he's imagining a moment where he can simply be, where your presence feels grounding, nurturing, and emotionally magnetic. This is why your femininity lingers in his mind. It offers something he doesn't get anywhere else. And here's what makes this fantasy powerful. It isn't forced, it's felt. The more naturally you embody your femininity through presence, calm confidence, and ease, the deeper his attraction becomes. He doesn't just want to look, he wants to stay close to the feeling you create. This is the kind of desire that grows quietly and steadily, not sparked by trying harder, but by being fully yourself. And once a man connects your presence with that sense of softness and emotional refuge, his attraction stops being momentary and starts becoming meaningful. At the deepest level, what a man truly fantasizes about isn't exposure, it's exclusivity. His mind doesn't wander toward what's visible to everyone else. It gravitates toward moments that feel private, personal, and shared only between the two of you. When he imagines closeness with you, it's often wrapped in the idea that this intimacy is his, not in a possessive way, but in a deeply emotional one, something sacred, something quiet, something not meant for the outside world. This fantasy is built around secrecy in the most romantic sense, a closeness that happens when no one is watching, a moment that doesn't need validation, attention, or approval, just presence, just connection. In his imagination, your body becomes part of a shared experience that feels meaningful because it's not public, it's intentional. That's why mystery is so powerful. When you don't reveal everything at once, his imagination does the work for you. And imagination is far more compelling than anything fully revealed. He fills in the space with emotion, anticipation, and longing. He imagines intimacy that feels earned, not offered freely. What many women don't realize is that this kind of fantasy creates emotional attachment. When a man associates you with private closeness, he doesn't just desire you, he protects the connection in his mind. He values it. He thinks about it. He doesn't want to lose it. And this is where your real influence lies, not in how much you show, but in how selectively you allow closeness. Because when intimacy feels rare and personal, it becomes unforgettable. And once a man imagines a connection that feels like it belongs only to you and him, you don't fade from his thoughts, you stay there. If this video made you pause for a moment, if it shifted how you see yourself, even slightly, then remember this: your power has never been about trying harder or revealing more. It's always been about presence, intention, and the quiet confidence you carry without needing permission. Attraction isn't loud, desire isn't rushed, and real connection is never forced. When you understand how men experience closeness, imagination, and emotional intimacy, you stop chasing validation and start choosing what you allow. That's where everything changes. If you felt seen, understood, or empowered by this conversation, let me know in the comments, because your perspective matters here. And if you want more content that helps you understand male psychology without losing your softness, mystery, or self-respect, make sure you stay connected with this channel. These aren't just videos, they're reminders of how magnetic you already are when you stop doubting yourself. You don't need to compare. You don't need to compete. You just need to own who you are. And the right kind of attention will always find you. I'll see you in the next one.